Hey, I'm Walt. Purpose of this video is to focus on pacing and breathing for the Hustle Up the Hancock stair climb benefiting the Respiratory Health Association of Metropolitan Chicago. When you're stair climbing, you're using big muscle groups, most of the muscle groups in your body. Because of that, your body's going to gulp oxygen. Closest I've been able to mimic it is getting on a stationary bike, turning the resistance all the way up, and that's what it feels like. Your heart rate, your breathing, and really your muscle pain, they spike quickly, but if you maintain that pace, they'll settle down into a rhythm. So because of that, the first 20 or 25 floors are usually, I think, the hardest. So for your pacing, you're going to want to start slow, real slow, for the first 20 floors. If you're thinking in your head, this has to be too slow, then you've got it right. If you aren't thinking that, you're going too fast, slow down. Whether or not you're going for a real fast time or just to get to the top, you want to get into a rhythm, even if that means every 15 floors stopping. Settle into that rhythm and that pace and stick to it. Personally, for my pace, I try to find a part that's difficult. I'm breathing hard, my heart rate's high, but when I maintain that pace, it's not getting any worse. The best way to find that is really through training. When you're training, you can kind of push it a little bit more. If your breathing keeps going harder and faster and you don't really settle down, then you're going too fast and you need to go a little bit slower. That's really the best way to find it. You're shooting for negative splits. So every 20 or 30 group of 20 or 30 floors, you want it to be faster than the previous group, all the way to the top. For breathing, the most efficient way is to do pressure breathing. Pressure breathing is what's used by high altitude mountain climbers, fighter pilots when they're pulling high G maneuvers, free divers to saturate their blood with oxygen before they dive down. I like to think of it as trying to be a whale, as funny as that may sound. One of the reasons whales can stay down underwater for so much longer than us is that when they take a breath, they exchange about 85% of the air in their lungs, where we only exchange about 10 or 15% on a breath. So it's about being deep and efficient with your breaths. So that's what I try to think of being a whale when you pressure breathe. When you pressure breathe, you want to focus on your exhale. You want to put your lips together and focus on getting as much of your air as possible is out. The inhale, because your lungs are empty, kind of happens naturally and you don't have to put as much effort or energy into it, as long as you focus on that exhale. So it kind of looks like this. Sorry if it's a little loud. The rate is also slower. When you're pressure breathing, you're moving so much more volume of oxygen. Kind of show you what it's like. So instead of a kind of normal shallow breath, you'll be breathing hard. You're going up the stairs. It'd be like this. So instead, do your pressure breathing. It's much more efficient, and you'll get a lot more oxygen into those big muscles and be able to go faster. One of the consequences of moving so much air is that you'll get a dry throat and maybe a little bit of temporary asthma. For the dry throat, you can combat that by popping a couple of cough drops or using Listerine strips before you start the climb. That works on training climbs as well. But when you're in the stairs, make sure you've either spit out or chewed up your cough drops, because you don't want to ruin anybody else's day by getting them to do the Heimlich on you in the stairs. As far as the asthma goes, it's called athletic-induced asthma. It usually passes within about 24 hours of the race. Unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot you can do about it. The way I like to think about it is it helps us identify with who we're trying to raise money for. At least you don't feel like that every day like some of them may. I hope you found this video helpful. I am planning another video on some efficiency, maximizing your efficiency and top tricks that I've learned over the years. If you did enjoy the video, please donate to my team. There's a link down in the comments below. This year my team's climbing in memory of Theodore Korduck, who's the father of one of our team members who lost his battle to COPD a few years back. Thanks, and I'll see you guys in the stairs.